Hello, hello, hello. Firstly, it's great to be back here in Belfast. I love it here. We are not part of the CIA, just to make sure that was clear. I am David Levin. My background is I'm a writer. I used to work at MTV and in pop magazines, where my journalistic achievements were once dancing with Shaggy. I don't know if you can see these screens. That's Kerry Katona with her tongue in my ear. I was also the guy that came up with the nickname Justin Trouser Snake for Justin Timberlake, so keep calm. But now, David and I work with brands, TV shows, newspapers and stuff on, as Declan mentioned, so sorting out tone of voice on Twitter and coming up with ways, sort of creative ways of cutting through the noise. So I'm going to talk a bit about how I came to be tweeting for a living and why tone of voice and being human is so important on social media, particularly on Twitter. So it all started for me the night of the London riots when I'd just moved to Hackney in East London. And one of the rumours on Twitter that night was that a pub called the Dolphin was burning down, and I'm presuming most of you haven't been over to East London to the Dolphin. It's kind of like the Kavos of East London. It's the place you go until 5 in the morning and dance to sort of bad or good 90s R&B. I'd moved across the road, could see it was fine, tweeted about it, and then people started replying with all kinds of filthy and hilarious tweets. Someone said it was the only pub they've ever had sex in, and all this kind of stuff. I couldn't believe that the Dolphin didn't have its own Twitter feed, so I decided to set one up. It wasn't, thank you very much, it wasn't something that I had planned to live on beyond a couple of days. It was just a bit of a joke. But by the following morning, it had over 1,000 followers, and people seemed to be really enjoying sort of talking to it. So I decided to keep it going. And then fast forward a few months, and much to my amazement and amusement, this tweet about the athlete Katrina Johnson-Thompson went on to be one of the top tweets of Super Saturday in the Olympics, alongside Gary Lineker and Team GP, and was even cooler that she, after a rapper called Example retweeted it, she noticed it and followed it up with this tweet, so hopefully they've gone on to get married and have lots of babies. And since then, the Dolphin has been among the top tweets or tweeters for a number of other things, such as the Royal Baby. The Grammys. And was named Time Out's favourite London tweeter and a few other things. And I guess the reason, or the main reasons for it, are tone of voice. So from the outset, I've been really focused on tweeting as one of the types of people that go to this sort of little dingy pub. And it's also been about trying different things on Twitter that sort of set the feed apart from other ones, which is something that's really important on all social media, really, which is just kind of being able to cut through the noise. And it's something that's had a big impact on the pub, who they say they get no less than a dozen people coming every week because they've been following the Twitter account, and they're sort of buying lots of Jaeger bombs. And it's something that's changed my career, because on the back of some of the Dolphins' achievements, I started getting asked to tweet for other people, such as PG Tips. IKEA. L'Oreal Men Expert. You don't have to laugh at all these. BBC One. That's awful. Beats headphones. And The Voice. When I took over The Voice's social media, most other BBC shows and TV shows in general had really boring Twitter accounts, often just posting links to the shows on iPlayer and stuff. But by putting a bit of care and love and attention into the tone of voice and into the personality, and trying out some of the things that I'd learned from doing the Dolphin Pub, we managed to break BBC records for followers and engagement, and we made a few headlines. So at the time, ITV had a much stronger foothold than social media. but we managed to overturn that with the voice, which was cool. And then on the right, on the left, that's when I sent a few flirtatious tweets to Sunita about coming and sitting on Tom Jones's knee, which apparently left Simon Cowell raging, which obviously is a career highlight. Something that is essential to success on social media, but particularly on Twitter, is the ability to enter a conversation that lots of people are having and put your own spin on it, which it sounds obvious and sounds easy, but that's something that particularly brands and businesses, I think, are getting wrong. This is just a couple of examples. So when I was tweeting for The Apprentice, the tennis was on, we were on afterwards, and sort of I've shoehorned into that conversation. It worked quite well. Whereas this was a slightly more lazy approach, also by me, when I just decided to tweet the brand slogan Epic from Money Supermarket, which got a massive 1 retweet, which I guess you would call a social media fail. Something that we like to do with the feeds that we look after is come up with sort of recurring themes or features or strands like you get in a magazine or in a blog, and just things that are slightly different that sort of set you apart from other feeds. So there's a few examples. So from Guardian Soulmates, we do dating tips every day that sort of keep people coming back. For the Dolphin, I do Dolphin star signs, which just means going to sort of, the sun horoscopes or one of those, finding star signs and rewriting them in Dolphin tone of voice, which tends to mean just adding boos and or swear words. But they tend to do well and get a lot of engagement. For L'Oreal, in the lead up to Christmas, we were doing an office party tip every day. Thank you very much. For Tourism Australia, we were doing an Aussie word of the week. But one particular sort of feature or theme that we've found particular success with is quizzes. Tweeters love a quiz. I know you guys were talking about quizzes before. There's something about it that just seems to work really well. So I tend to just tweet 5 questions in a row, and it's the first person to reply with all the right answers and the hashtag wins the prize. And from BBC accounts, the prize is just, a follow and a shout out. From the Dolphin, it's, a Jaeger bomb and a scratch card or something. But of the ones that I've done, the Voices and BBC Ones and L'Oreal's have all trended worldwide. But the Dolphin quiz was the first time that I got the Dolphin trending, which, considering what the Dolphin is, was quite amusing to me. And also cool that it was trending 1 place higher than the Nobel Peace Prize, which was slightly cool or slightly embarrassing. But at the end, you just get this huge surge. One of the reasons why it's great, particularly if you work for an agency or you work for a company where you have to sort of you have to hit engagement targets and stuff, the quiz is a really good way to help that, because before the last question, I'll just tweet saying, right, last question coming up, fingers at the ready, and then you just get this huge surge of tweets all using the same hashtag, which if you're trying to get something trending or you're just trying to boost your engagement, as I say, it's a really helpful way to do that. So again, this idea of trying to be a bit different and try and stand out. I was tweeting for Betway, who sponsored the Froch Groves boxing match last weekend, and what we decided to do was, rather than just do funny tweets or tweets about boxing, the main thing was in between rounds, we were measuring which of the boxers were getting the most tweets about them, getting the most mentions, and then we sort of put it in this infographic. And that was really what the account was there that night, and it was sort of attracting quite a lot of attention. And it was just kind of, so whilst you had the 2 guys fighting in the ring, it was like, who's also winning the Twitter war? And yeah, it's just an example of trying something a bit different and how that can make you stand out. Something that I like to do from the Dolphin feed is think about who and what you're retweeting. So often people tend to retweet the most interesting tweets or the coolest tweets, or which makes sense. But I find you can sort of curate the type of thing that you retweet and turn that into a bit of a feature itself. So with the Dolphin, I tend to only ever tweet sort of crap 90s R&B stars or chicken shops. And that seems to work well. So here are a few examples of the types of things that I retweet. Dane Bowers thinking that he can microwave his phone to charge it. Chicken Cottage, one of my favourite tweets ever. Hit like if you prefer Chicken Cottage over other chickens. Vanilla Ice, I'm reading tweets, that's good to know. But this perhaps was my favourite one. Wyclef, to celebrate his 43rd birthday, decided to oil himself up and take a selfie on a motorbike, which... Something that we do with the brands that we work with is we've been calling it reactive listening, which is where you use Twitter to search for people that are talking about your brand or your business or just the area that you're in. So if you're Kit Kat, searching for people talking about chocolate. And it's sort of engaging with those people in a way that get them to come and follow your account or buy your brand or whatever it is. This is one example where IKEA had an advert just before Christmas that some of you may have seen that had the human bodies with dolls' heads, which was quite a weird, quite scary advert. Lots of people were tweeting that it was scary and that it was giving their kids nightmares and stuff. The Sun wrote an article about how Twitter was in uproar about this advert. IKEA panicked about it, had a meeting with their advertising agency and came up with an idea of setting up a Twitter account as one of the dolls and get the doll to search out people that are saying the advert was scary and sort of, be a bit bantery with them to try and turn their tone around. So they wanted a mid-20s single mum from Manchester, so obviously I was the logical choice. But yeah, it worked quite well. So this is a few examples of that types of thing that we did. So someone tweeting the IKEA advert with the dolls is really creepy, to which I'd respond, well, this is awkward. The IKEA advert freaks me out. Soz Love wasn't a fake tan. I mean, it was real highbrow stuff. But over the few weeks that it was running, it did really well. It got a lot of followers and in its own way sort of turned around the sentiment a bit. Another one was HTC, who their recent advert had Robert Downey Jr. in. The whole ad was around HTC acronyms, so it's stuff like humongous tinfoil catamaran and hipster troll car wash and stuff. They get a lot of hate from Samsung and Apple users, so they were expecting that people were going to slag off the advert. They asked me to just log in just whilst the ad was on for that week and search for people that were saying negative things about the ad and reply using an HTC acronym. So it was quite a specific task, but again, it worked well. So here's a couple examples. That HTC advert made no sense, which I responded, sorry, I can't believe you have that conclusion. And lol with 3 O, so it can't have been that bad. Pardon the language, all this hype for the new HTC advert, and we get some with Robert Downey Jr. was expecting new product let down. No bad language, please hold that cursing. But over that week, again, it did really well. People started realizing what was going on, and it worked well for them, and lots of lols. PG Tips got me to sort of take over their account for a month, and it was just between 7 and 9 in the morning. It was kind of like a tea breakfast show. And the only two tasks were to make sort of bad tea puns like the one you saw before, but then the main thing was to search out people tweeting about tea, but not mentioning PG Tips, and get them to come and follow the account. So I was, just searching for cup of tea, finding people like this, cup of tea, perfection, then I'd respond, stop showing off, and they went down quite well with her. Another one, this person, Zayn Haran, so I took a wild stab in the dark that she was a One Direction fan, drinking a cup of tea and living the life, to which I responded with a terrible pun, we don't know you're beautiful. And she was laughing so hard she couldn't spell laughing. But over the course of that month when I was running the account, just having me searching out people and sort of doing this reactive listening had a huge impact on the account. This little graph that they did afterwards, so that was the day that I took over, and their engagement went a bit crazy. I think it was over 300% or something. But I think it's definitely worth using this tool of just searching for what people are saying about you, or searching for what tweets are in your area, and getting them to come over and follow you. But someone who has embraced this idea of searching out negative tweets, or searching out tweets about them and responding in a quite fruity way, is James Blunt. I'm not a fan of his music, but I'm a huge fan of what he's been doing on Twitter. I don't know if any of you have seen. As I say, he's just searching for people that are sort of saying bad stuff about him, and he's responding in a quite surprising way. So this is one example. James Blunt has an annoying face and a highly irritating voice, both fair points in my opinion, but to which he's responded, and no mortgage. 7,420 retweets. And yeah, he's been doing this around the time of his album coming out. It's been a really clever way of attracting a lot of attention. And yes, he's quite brilliant. So this idea of, having the right type of conversation with the right people or the right thing in the right way is something that is a very powerful force on Twitter. Some call it banter. And it is worth thinking about the sort of conversations and engagement that you're having. This is one example that we liked. It was when This girl here tweeted, "Can tell I like chocolate a bit too much when I'm following Kit Kat and Oreo, ha ha ha." To which Kit Kat responded by kicking off a game of noughts and crosses using a Kit Kat, which was quite cool. And then Oreo, never one to shy away from a fight, responded by eating the Kit Kat. And obviously she'll be buying both chocolate bars for the rest of her life. And then I'm just going to finish by saying even politics doesn't shy away from this idea of Twitter banter. Some of you may have seen this example. Labour tweeting, "Send out the search party. The Lib Dems haven't tweeted since July the 13th." To which the Lib Dems replied with perhaps my favourite ever, hashtag, "Sorry we've been busy running the country," hashtag coalitious. And Labour not prepared to leave it there. Yeah, well, that's been going well. Keep up the good work. That's me for now. I'm going to hand over to fellow David. Thank you.